Hi, this is Vivian Rain with Dr. BizBoom, and on today's video we're going to be talking about the introduction to the ROF. And it's probably one of the most key things that you're going to do in a patient cycle because it is the difference between them enrolling and not. You know, I talk about in some of our training the importance of making a good first impression, and this is no different. Here's the thing. When you are doing your intro in an ROF, you are setting the tone for the entire cycle and often determining whether or not that patient is going to enroll. Now, sometimes you can save it through the rest of the cycle, but you're going to have to try really hard to do so. And here's what I like to give all case managers and doctors who do ROFs an understanding of about their intro. 1, know who the person is before you walk in the room. Know who's in the room. I hate when I'm listening to a recording and I hear somebody come in and go, "Oh, hi, and you are Ron." And he's like, "No, I'm Bob. And who's this with you?" "Oh, this is my wife, Sherry." No, you should know. Bob and Sherry are in the room, okay? Know who your patient is. Know some basic details about them that are in their chart. Are they diabetic? What are their symptoms? What have they done from this in the past? Did they make any specific comments in the part 1 that you should be aware of? If you didn't do it. If you saw them a few days ago when it's not the same day, remember who they are. Oh, and they were at my dinner, or they were at the seminar I did in such and such place, or actually I've never met them before and I should mention that it's so good to meet them and Dr. So-and-so loved seeing them the other day. Whatever it is, you know, when you walk in that room, know who's in there. Next thing, walk in the room with confidence. Don't walk in the room doing something else, kind of half paying attention, not looking up to acknowledge the person. Look up and acknowledge them. "Hi, nice to meet you," or "good to see you," something, eye contact. Let's get our basics in of communication. You're a professional salesperson. Have your basics of communication in, right? Look professional. Have your, whatever it is you wear. If you wear, you know, a suit or scrubs or a jacket, a white jacket, whatever it is, have it put on it properly, right? Don't have it be dirty. If you spill on yourself and you spill your coffee, keep a spare shirt in the office, whatever it is. Walk in ready to go. Confident, okay? With all the materials you need. These are the basics of beginning an ROF. Have your care plan, have your treatment program, have your nerve map, have the patient's chart, have everything you need. Be ready to go. Be a professional about it, okay? You are a professional. Act like it. Enter every cycle like it. Now you walk in, right? Greet them. Stand up. Stay standing and greet them, right? Do something to break the ice as far as an intro, introducing yourself, who you are. I'm such and such, your case manager, and sit down after you greet them and say the intro part. You don't sit down until you do that. So what I mean is, enter, say, "Hi, Bob. Hi, Mary. It's so good to see you. I remember you from my dinner the other night at the Olive Garden. It's so good to see you again. So let me tell you about what we're going to be doing here today. Today we're going to be reviewing if you have neuropathy, what stage you have, and, you know, if we can accept you. And before we do that, it's really important that Bob, as her husband, you understand why you're here." Sit down, right? Now you can sit down. There's reasons you want to do this. You want to be close in proximity with them. You want to build some affinity with these people, right? 2, you want to be greeting them, looking them in the eye, shaking them, you know, by the hand. And you want to establish that you're in control of the cycle, right? So establish that. Establish that by standing while you greet them and then sitting down after you start your first initial couple lines on the introduction. Always cover why the spouse is there. It's in the script. It's in the script for a reason. Don't skip parts of the script. Introduce the spouse. Meet them. Explain to them why they're here. Tell them it's important that they're here, that you're going to be asking them questions, that they're key to this, and in you determining whether or not you're going to accept their spouse or significant other. Or if it's a child, same thing. Do the introduction for the spouse or decision maker that's present. You need to engage them in the cycle. Don't ignore them. They're a key part of this cycle in helping the patient be supported in making the right decision here. Or if they have some sort of counter intention on them not doing treatment, you better handle that during this cycle. And you better know about it, and you better know about it before you present the care plan, and then they decide to speak up about why they feel that their husband or mom shouldn't do this. So you better engage them throughout the cycle. It's important to let them know that you're going to be determining whether or not they're a candidate, and you expect certain things out of them and the people that you do choose to accept. That's why the script is written like this. If delivered with confidence and delivered properly, it sets a great tone for the cycle. This is the gold standard of treatment in neuropathy care, and we don't accept everyone. And that's important for them to know, okay? Go through the intro fully. Don't miss any parts. Ask the questions that need to be asked and wait for and get answers, all right? Once you get through the introductory part and you let them know what you're going to be doing here today, you're going to go into the symptom review. I get it's redundant. It has other purposes in the script, and it's important you understand that. One, it's important we are correctly duplicating and there isn't anything that we missed. So go through it. It doesn't have to be long. It's just answer yes, no if you've had these symptoms in your hands and feet at any time. Now, you go through them and yes, no. And sometimes they start getting off on tangents. It's another reason it's important to do this part. If you have a storyteller and somebody who's getting off on long tangents, this gives you the ability to put in control on the cycle. You're establishing this. I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to give me an answer. Okay? You're not saying that, but in the script, that's what you're doing. All right? So when you ask them a question and they give you start to get on some long-winded, long story answer, go, hey, Bob, that information's really important, but right now what I need to know is if I have your symptoms correct. We'll get into your some of the history of your condition later, but have you ever experienced burning in your hands or feet? Okay, hands, okay, how long ago? Okay, great. Go through them, right? And you're also establishing the cycle, and that's really important. So these two steps of the introduction and getting the symptoms in a yes-no format are very important. You have to establish the cycle, that you're in control. What's happening in this cycle? Getting them answering your questions when you ask them. If at any point they're not tracking with you or it's not going well, pay attention to that thought and handle it. Go, looks like something's going on there. Well, what's going on? Well, they might originate something. Handle it. Handle it then. That's okay. Because you're establishing the communication and you need to work out any of those things so true communication can occur and they're not sitting there on something they're not saying to you. And you go through half an hour of your ROF before they cough it up. Don't waste your time. Get them communicating with you during this period of time. Okay? So this is, again, just on the importance of the introduction and how you enter the room, that you have your script down. The other thing is have your script down. I can't tell you how many times I listened to a recording that I'm reviewing in some training with somebody on an ROF, and they're completely off the script, and I don't even know what they're saying, or they skipped it, or they started answering patients' questions, or the patient was like, well, I really just want to know how much they cost, and it threw them off, and so they don't do their intro. Don't let those things happen. Do the intro as it's scripted. Keep it there. Practice it. I have case managers who are the most successful. Every morning when they come in, they sit down and they do their introduction for their ROF and they pull out their script. This is a very, very important responsibility with patients. Be good at it. Review your script continuously. Specifically, nail the intro. It sets the tone for the entire cycle. All right? If this video made you think about your intro, pull out your script. If it didn't make you think about your intro, pull out your script. Basically, pull out your script, know it very well. And it's going to be the foundation for the ROF and set you up for success if you handle it correctly and nail it. Now, one of the important things I should cover, when you come in and you intro yourself to a patient, shaking hands, hi, good to have you, the moment at which you start into, so what we're going to do here today, it's business time. It's not, hi, Mary, and let's chat about the weather and the traffic on your way in. It's like, there actually needs to be a visible shift in your tone level and how you approach this part of the cycle. It's business time and it needs to be serious. Do not do the ROF in some light, fun, smiley manner. That is not this cycle. You need to get your correct tone when you enter that part of the script. As soon as you do an introduction and you say hi to them and you sit down and you say, so what we're going to do here today is, and you start in on your script, right? That better carry the appropriate tone. What do I mean by appropriate tone? What would you sound like if you were sitting down to tell someone they had cancer? Right? Now, if I said that and you thought, well, this isn't cancer, think again, and I'll tell you why. What happens with somebody who has cancer? Stage 4 cancer. It gets worse and they die, right? And that's obviously not a good thing and tragic. What happens when somebody has neuropathy? Guess what? Neuropathy won't kill them. It'll slowly cripple them and rob them of their life and their mobility. So if I say that and you had any thought about it's not the same thing, then you need to check yourself on what you're doing here. Okay? That is the tone you need to have when you go into these cycles, because this might be something that you do multiple times a day, but this person right now is being told that they have a serious disease that is going to get worse over time and has severe consequences on their quality of life and largely determines what life will look like as they age. And that is not fluff, that is serious, and you better deliver it as such, because if you make light of it, they're going to make light of it, and then you're doing them a disservice. So I bring this up because that tone shift is important and you need to nail it every time. All right? That's some of the great information I can give you on the successful tips and how-tos on the introduction of an ROF. So brush up on every one of those points that I covered. Be prepared when you go in. Nail the script. Don't skip parts. Introduce yourself. Comment on how you know them or it's good to see them. Handle the spouse. Introduce yourself to whomever's with them. And be business about it. And when I say business, I mean the business of serious disease communication. All right? And we'll continue on our training on the future videos. But let's nail this intro. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.